Hi everybody, welcome to Catherine Sews. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today I've got two denim jackets that both need a little bit of fixing up. So let me show you what I'm going to do today. So this one I thrifted while I was looking for skinny jeans, and I love the oversized fit of it. Like, I love the whole body of it, but the sleeves are just a little ridiculous. I feel a little bit silly. I feel like a little kid with these super long sleeves. And of course I could just roll them up, but I know how to sew, so let's do that. I'm going to be shortening the sleeve here. And I'm not going to get into changing the opening. I'm just going to take them as short as I can without interfering in that opening. So that's a pretty straight ahead, simple one, relatively simple. And then the other one, this one I've had for years. It's a bit more of a trim fit. It's not super oversized. In fact, I'd probably say the sleeves are maybe even on the short side. Why I'm not wearing it these days is there's just not enough room in the shoulders. It's like super uncomfortable and tight on the shoulders. So I'm just gonna change the sleeves. I picked up this little hoodie at the thrift store as well, and it had some stains on it. In fact, it still has a yellow patch here. I don't know if you can see on camera. It almost feels the same as the denim jacket. It's a little bit small in the body and just not that comfortable, but I think I'll be able to take as much as I want from this sleeve. I purposely chose the raglan sleeve so that I can kind of come in as far as I want. I don't have a shoulder seam there to worry about, right? So I'll be able to use as much of this as I want to and make that comfier shoulder. I might even use the hood and attach the hood. I've been seeing that look kind of making a comeback, and I've always liked that look. That's just cozy, casual, comfy. So yeah, if I can get the spots out, I'm going to put the white hoodie together with the white denim jacket, shorten the sleeves on the other one, and I'll have two nice denim jackets for my spring wardrobe. While I'm trying to get stains out of this one, let's start on the dark one of shortening the sleeves.
So just before I throw that load of wash in, I'm going to cut off the sleeves off the denim jacket because I want to throw this in the wash at the same time so that I get a nice ruffly edge here. I'm going to be cutting off the sleeves about 1/4 inch into the sleeve, so I'm leaving this whole flat felled seam, and then there'll be the little raggedy edge. So to shorten the sleeves on this one, I put a pin where I want the sleeve to finish, but I'm actually not going to be able to get it to be that short because I don't want to get involved with this seam and raising up this opening, because to make a nice opening like this, which is a beautiful technique by the way, but to do it you need to have an extension on the seam allowance here. I can't just go up higher into that seam allowance because I don't have any more fabric there. I'm just going to make it as short as I can with what I've got to work here. So the first thing I'm going to do is just unpick this cuff. Once you've got a little bit of a hole to work with, or a bit of a space, turn your seam ripper to put the red little stopper down so that you can keep an eye on the blade. You know you're not gouging your fabric. And just gently push that along. Make sure your other hand is safe, that you're not pushing towards your hand. You don't want to stab your hand. Unpick both cuffs, remove both. The cuffs are both off, and I'm pinning the cuff to its proper sleeve. And now cutting off the sleeve. So to mark that, I'm going to use my see-through ruler and my tailor's wax. I don't think I should get closer than about 1 inch to that opening. So that means the most I'm going to be able to cut off is 2 3/4 inches. So I'm stacking both sleeves on top of each other. Now, if you have good scissors, you'll be able to cut through that many layers of denim. If your scissors are a little iffy, then maybe mark each sleeve separately. I'm going to sew a line around here where I want this level to come up to. Otherwise, it might be a little tricky for me to get that lined up exactly right. Good, so just using the edge of my presser foot as a guide, I'm going to just be sewing a line all the way around the bottom edge of the sleeves. What that line of stitching does is it's just drawing a line in thread for me to be able to put this cuff back on, and I'll just bring the edge of my cuff up to that sewing line. And maybe just cover it over so I don't have to unpick it. So I'm just tucking that all in, bringing my folded edge up to just cover the line that I just sewed, and pin in place. The sleeve had a bit of a taper to it, so now that I've cut off 2 3/4 inches, the sleeve is now a little bit too big to fit into this cuff. So just near the buttonhole, I'm going to be just doing a little bit of a pleat. A little bit of a fold like that going towards the buttonhole. And then the rest of the sleeve just fits in perfectly. And that line of stitching is actually really helpful to make sure I don't push the sleeve in too deep into the cuff. You want to just be able to peek and see that line of stitching. There it is. Good. So this pleat is folding toward the buttonhole. That'll work out just fine. I'm going to pin both to be exactly the same before I sew one. Just want to make sure that the two pleats are the same. They've got a mirror image here. Yeah, good enough. Now that little corner is going to want to come out. I think I better get a pin in closer to that corner. So I've got top stitching thread, this like heavy button thread actually, but it matches perfectly, so I'm happy with that. But the key to using a really thick heavy thread is that you have to have a thick heavy needle. I have a couple size 18s here, so I'm going to give that a try.
Okay, so this one's all finished. Those sleeves are a lot more reasonable now. I feel like an adult wearing this jean jacket. I just love the oversized fit of it, and it's so comfy, and I'll just be able to throw this over everything. So this worked out great, and that was pretty easy, right? Okay, let's get on to the white one. So the hoodie just washed up so nice. It's so nice and fresh and clean now, no stains, and it's lovely and cozy. And I've got it layered with the little vest part of the jean jacket on top of it. So I do like the look. I'm definitely going to be using the hood and the sleeves, but I'm also kind of liking that it's giving me a little bit more length too. So I'm thinking I'm going to use that as well, and even this middle part, the zipper part. You might be thinking, well, why not just keep them as they are then, because you're using the whole hoodie? But I'm not actually, because I still don't have the comfort around the shoulder and the underarm that I really want. It's just not there yet. It's like super uncomfortable, really. It's just too tight across the shoulders and under the arms. What I'm going to do is drop the armhole of the jean jacket part. I'll cut away another inch under the arm, so that will already feel a lot better. The sleeve is already just a little bit roomier than this armhole, so just doing that might make it a lot more comfy. But what I've done is on this one, you can see that I've drawn with my friction pen, I've drawn that line kind of where they overlap. But I'm not going to just overlap them there. I'm going to give myself just another inch of fabric and let that sleeve come out a little bit more, and with the lower armhole. That'll just be way comfier. Let's look at that up close.
So I want to drop this armhole by about an inch, which means I'll be cutting away some of the seam just from below the arm, and then blend that back in. This is the line that I drew where they connect, but I'm going to be cutting like a good inch and a half, inch and a quarter away from there. I just want to have that extra room if I need it, and I can just play around with it once I get it back on. So I'll cut one layer at a time and one sleeve at a time. Good, so now I'm going to cut away most of the body. I just want to leave myself about an inch above this band, and then I'll come around and come up maybe a couple inches from the zipper around the neck. I'm just going to blend into where I cut at the shoulders. At the back there's this nice curved piece at the back. I'll blend right into that, and then blend back into the shoulder, and I'll come around like that. I'm going to be serging this edge, so I think it'll be much more fun, much nicer to serge a curve rather than that inside corner. That pocket goes right into the waistband, but I guess I'll just cut it off because I'm not using that pocket. Okay, so you can see all my messy red lines from that friction marker, and then watch what happens when I hit it with the iron. Isn't that beautiful? I love those friction markers. Now this hoodie fabric is not going to fray, So if you don't have a serger, you don't really need to serge this at all. I could skip the step of serging, but I don't know. Once you have a serger, you get kind of obsessed and you want to serge everything. And I already have white thread in the serger, so why not? And around the top of both sleeves.
So this is what's, that's the hoodie part. And so to pin them together, yeah, let's see. There we go. This is a bit funny. So that's the weirdest hoodie you've ever seen. This part is going to come over it, and I cut off that. Oh my gosh, it's already so much better. Oh my gosh, it feels good. That's going to just sit perfectly, like right, if that's just going to be right there. Now, I don't love how boxy this is, so I might end up taking it in at the waist. After all this letting out, I might just nip it in at the waist a bit, just to give some shape. But we'll see, that I can do at the very last minute. Okay, sleeves. Like, I cannot tell you the difference in comfort level right now. It's just night and day. So cozy now and feels good. That sleeve's gonna be way easier to pin when I have it off. I just have to make sure I've got the underarm seam lined up with the side seam and the top up here. That's gonna be fine. I think I'm gonna be actually great.
So time to pin the body of the jacket to the body of the hoodie. Quite amazing how they fit together so perfectly. That's actually just a stroke of luck. I'll be sewing down here so that it looks more natural, like it could still open. Yeah, I want to pin these the same. So just double checking where I had that lined up. So there's the two fronts. So I do need to stretch that band a little bit to come across so that the center back of the jacket is in line with the center back of the hoodie. I'll sew along the neck edge and then see if I want to sew down that curve or do I want to just trim it off. We'll see. So that's basically the whole perimeter pinned. I'm going to lift up the little tab here and start right underneath that. And I'm sewing right on top of the original stitching line with a straight stitch. I have to stretch a little bit as I go to make the ribbing fit perfectly. And then just come to the other side of the tab. I'll just pivot right here and come up on that line so that that corner is free and it'll look a little bit more natural. Now this is going to be awkward to sew around this circle with the sleeve. I don't even know quite how I'm going to tackle this, but somehow we'll figure it out. Quite awkward going through here, like trying to sew a donut. From the inside now, I think I am just going to try to sew down this big curved back neck facing. And then when I tried on to check the sleeve, I stuck a pin in the waist here. I think it will look a little bit better if it kind of comes in at the waist a little. That, I believe, is it.
And I gotta tell you, it feels so awesome. It's so comfy and cozy. It has all of the comfort of a hoodie, but it has the look of a denim jacket. Both of them were too small, right? Neither one of them gave me enough room for movement. And so combining the two and dropping the armhole on the denim jacket just gave me all that extra room for comfort. Also, it's not gonna button up anymore. It's just gonna zip. And so that also buys me a little bit more width, so more comfort. I love the pockets on this one. This just worked out great. This one was stained and it was hanging on that thrift store rack. And honestly, nobody was gonna buy a stained white hoodie unless another rescuer came along. So I'm really glad to have rescued this and turned it into something that I am absolutely gonna love. And I can even do this. I can even layer them because this one is so nice and roomy that it totally fits right on top of the white one. So that's a bonus. Okay, everybody, thanks so much for joining me today. It was great to have you along for the ride. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button too, because it means a lot to me. Thanks so much. And until next time, you take care.